Okay, I'm just setting up the live stream. I won't be long. I've mentioned this before. I run a Chromebook alongside the main computer with a view of the live stream so I can see the live stream chat while we are flying. Okay, so we're going to be taking the Shooting Star for a fly from RAF Valley on the island of Anglesey. So should be good fun. So you can see there's lots of hawks parked around us. Let's go and zoom this slightly in. There's a Eurofighter and an F-35 parked behind us over there. So this is the free scenery of RAF Valley that's available from FlightSim.2. See, there's another Eurofighter. So it's nice to see these aircraft alongside it to compare and contrast the size of them. So it's not so different size-wise to a modern fighter jet. It just has, you know, nowhere near the power or the technology on board or the aerodynamic knowledge. But I just thought it might be fun to go and see how a late 1940s, early 1950s fighter jet could deal with the Mach Loop. So it should be good fun. Okay, let's go and jump inside the aeroplane. So I've already gone and turned on. Well, there we got the stick is drifting on the Xbox controller. So we've got the battery and the generator on already. So let's go and so we've got the navigation lights are on steady. We're going to put them on bright as well. So on the other side of the cockpit, we're going to go and turn the radios on. And turn the fuselage fuel on. Oh, actually, it's a good point. I haven't loaded it up with fuel yet. We ought to go and do that, otherwise we'll run out of fuel. So let's fill it right up to the top. We'll have a little play with some of this as well while we're flying. Okay, anyway. So, start. If I can never get the click spot on this switch. It's really, really fiddly. There we go. So we're waiting for about 10%, I think, on the RPM. And then ignition can go to normal. So if we were to blip the throttle now, it's all good. We can close the starter. Don't need pitot heat just yet. Go and put the inverters on now, so the attitude indicator will roll around. It's interesting it's showing off. Anyway, we can show. Well, I'll show you some smoke effects as well while we're flying along in a few minutes' time. So let's go and get the canopy closed, shall we? So the controls for that, it's all a bit awkward to get to. It's hidden from your normal eye line. So if you've got head tracking, it's obviously straightforward to get to. But if we go to park close to begin with, and then go full close, and that will lock it down, and then we should be able to close that by rotating. Okay. It's a nice looking aeroplane, isn't it? It's just out of its era, parking next to all these modern fighters. It's quite amusing, really. Right, so let's go and have a look at the map, see where we need to go. So it's going to be a crosswind, so we'll just taxi out right then and then right again, and then follow the taxiway all the way down to runway 13. We need to navigate some of these other aeroplanes there by the look of it, or no, we can just follow this line. So right, and then down there. Okay. So let's go and put the head tracking on, which will help us enormously with taxiing. Goodbye, Mr. Typhoon. Goodbye, Mr. Hawk. What else have we got parked up today? It's just mostly Hawks, isn't it? Is it 100 Squadron? I can never remember the squadron numbers in the RAF. There's another Typhoon and F-35 over there. Nearly put it on the grass. It hasn't got the best turning circle. Okay, you better tell the fire engines to get ready. This could end in tears. I haven't taken off in a crosswind with it yet at all, so we'll see. Let's get the flaps to take off configuration while we're at it. So we're going to cross the runway here. We could use that runway and the crosswind wouldn't be as bad, but we wouldn't get as long a runway. It looks a bit more bumpy than the main runway. There's some F-15s parked on the other side. See them in a moment. This is wonderful scenery, isn't it, for free scenery? It's very well done. A hangar here. I wonder what's in there. Or is it just a... maybe it's an arms store or something. No, it's a hangar. You can see the hangar door there, look on the front. Or I say door, sheet of concrete. Probably with armoured structures inside it as well. Okay, runway 13 at Valley. Let's see how we do. To 120, so lift the nose gently. It's stalling, look, but it is lifting off. Probably just didn't have enough flap. Let's get the gear up. How are we doing on airspeed? 190 knots. We're holding it. Let's drop the nose gently. Coming up to 200 knots. And we'll follow the coast down to the Mach Loop. So we go out. Towards the southern end of Anglesey. Wind isn't, sorry, the cloud isn't great today, is it? Let's dip back through it. So there's the Menai Strait. The island behind us over there. get a bit of altitude to stay above the clouds on the way so we can navigate at least. So we're coming up to 400 knots. This thing's quick, considering its era. So I'm leaving the live weather on because it'll make it a bit more exciting. Oh, I told you I was going to play with the smoke, didn't I, to show you it? So if we turn the smoke on, you'll see we now have a smoke stream behind us. So you can play all sorts of silly games with, like, doing flick rolls and plaster the pilots against the canopy. So let's just get our bearings, have a quick look on the map. We're coming across the towards Lambeda and then in towards Barmouth, and then we'll go in via that way. It's the easiest way, isn't it? Okay, so we're doing about 350 knots and slowly increasing in speed. 7,000 feet. You can see the entrance to Barmouth directly in front of us. How are we doing for fuel? Down to about 70-something%. Looking to see what some of the lights are. I still haven't learnt the aircraft properly. It's got all these various radio functions that do work. So one of the tricks of this aircraft is you have to transfer fuel. So these are essentially pumps. So yeah, you can transfer all of it at once, but we're not going to. But you need to keep an eye on how much fuel you've got, and it's very tricky to do so. So once I've learnt it properly, I will make a video about managing the fuel in this thing. It was the chief cause of shooting stars falling out of the sky, was the pilots running out of fuel, because of the way this works, where you transfer, if you put too much fuel into the tank, into the fuselage, it dumps the excess. Okay, so we're rolling in over Barmouth, we're coming in through the cloud. They updated the bridge. Was it like that before? I don't think it was. If you have a look, just coming in here. So we go up the valley, then we double back and we roll in past this chorus here. So let's zoom in a little bit on this. There we go. I've got a feeling this is going to be really nice to put around the Mach Loop because it is so smooth on the controls. It might have some problems with the high G turns on the way around. So we'll hold it at kind of 350, 300 knots for this first little run around, and then we'll speed up and see how we get on. See, the weather might be affecting the frame rate actually, with it being so wispy. It does murder the frame rate in the simulator, doesn't it? It's looking fairly smooth though. So the usual route is you're looking for this bit of a hill here, and then you double back on yourself over the top of the hill. You can do it on either of these hills though, so let's do it. Let's double back. And you're doubling back into the plane here, and then you can see the entrance. Yeah, there's the entrance directly in front of us. So the exit is up here as well. There it is, look. Okay, so we're barreling in at 400 knots. I caught this chorus earlier, didn't I? That's wrong. Chorus is the first corner a bit further down the valley. Just over bank. And drop in. Stay to this side, skim the trees. Got a lovely day for it. Although we've got levitating cars in the valley now. That's nice of the simulator to do that for us. So it's just... So I'm going to slow down a bit through here. So, do you think we're going to get away with it? No, there's no way it would make many of these turns, is there? So we're going to have to cut over the trees. But we can go full throttle around the rest. Past Pertok. Down to Machloop. So here we go. High G turn into the valley. And skim the trees around the back of the Mach Loop. If you have a look at this from the outside view, it always looks quite spectacular, doesn't it? Valley. Do you know what? This is the easiest plane to fly the Mach Loop in I think I've ever experienced, considering it's doing 400 knots the whole time. I'm going flat out. Despite my reservations, it's very, very easy to do. Okay, let's go around again. We have to keep an eye on fuel though, won't we? Oh, we got loads. You just have to realise the limitations of the aeroplane, don't you? That it's not going to be able to hope to get into that valley floor down there. Okay, back round to Machloop. And here we go again. IG turn coming up. Let's pull it in this time and really go for it. And drop in along the river this time. See how low we can go through past some of these towns and really annoy them. Sorry if I'm making you feel sick. I'm rolling my head in opposition to the aeroplane, which probably makes it look a bit like a fairground ride at times. Yeah, this is remarkably straightforward compared to some of the other aircraft. Okay, let's straighten out and go back up to Valley and see what we can do about landing. What are we doing for fuel? So we're 50%. I wonder if we got enough fuel to get across country. We could have a play with it, couldn't we? Because we've just done a couple of laps and drawn a nice black line around the Mach Loop. Oh, I don't want it to get boring for you, though. I was just wondering if we fly over towards Waddington or Coningsby, it's about a couple hundred miles. I wonder what its altitude performance is like. I guess we could learn how to use the fuel tanks on the way, couldn't we? So I've just put the tip tanks on, and you can see it filling up the fuel again. So I'm basically emptying the tip tanks into the fuselage. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward then. So then we have to turn them off. Otherwise, so we're back up to full fuel. So that's fairly straightforward then. But obviously you have to know how much fuel and what the transfer rate is, because I don't think there's any way of knowing what's in the tip tanks, for example. Look at this scenery, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So we want to head east. So we've just gone past 90 degrees. We'll have a play with some navigation on the way, shall we? So, is that a VOR here? Yes, it is, at Shawbury. 11680. So let's turn the head tracking off for a moment. It's TACAN. There's the nav radio, that's UHF. Yeah, I was going to say I need to see which way up I am. Let's hope it can do this before the aeroplane puts us in the ground. 116. Uh, 116. That'll be 8. I don't know how to do this. Oh, here we go. 1, 1. Rolling away the whole time. 116 point. How do we move the inner track there? Ah, there we go. 80. So does that give us an HSI now? Presumably that will give us the heading. Yes, it does. So if we were to tune this in to centre the needle up, it should tell us the direction to go. So we'll be expecting it to be about 80 degrees, 70 degrees, something like that. I wasn't far off, was I? Like 72 degrees. So nav radios are fairly straightforward, they're just a bit fiddly. So let's fly at 70 degrees. And go and put the head tracking back on. So it lights up green when you have a signal, I think. Or, oh, it's gone orange again, I have no idea why. So in answer to the question in the live stream chat, this is stock scenery. It's just running in Ultra. I've got an NVIDIA 3080 card, which I have a feeling is not going to cut it for for Flight Sim 2024. So I've been saving for months to replace it with a better computer to run 2024 on. When the scenery isn't too densely populated, yes, it runs really nicely and smoothly. But if you get a high fidelity airport, for example, it's a different story. So just coming up through 6,000 feet, and we're heading straight for Shawbury. I'm glad I worked out the fuel. That's a weight off my mind. Having said that, look, we've burnt through 20% of our fuel load. I mean, okay, we're doing 400 knots. I wonder what the best altitude is for it. So let's go and take it up to a higher altitude. So we've got a climb rate of 5,000 feet a minute, 4,000 feet a minute, that'll do, won't it? Let's have a look at it from outside. It's a gorgeous aeroplane, isn't it? There is an anomaly here, look, in the livery. Another aeroplane I've seen do that is the Bird Dog, has got strange anomalies like that in its texturing. I'm sure they'll fix that. If they've been crafty as developers, they may have even left that in to know that the pre-sale versions, if they get pirated, they'll know which ones are which if they appear on the internet. Because that's the sort of thing I would do. Okay, so we've got another VOR with a decent range over towards Lake and Heath. We want to go over this way though, don't we? Gamston has got 11280. So let's go and turn at 60 degrees, I reckon, and then we'll go and retune. We can put a modern cockpit in place, of course. I haven't done that yet, but should we try it? There are various versions of the T-33 that go to air shows, and one of them that this has been modelled on has got a modern cockpit. So if we go and how do we do this? Options, classic cockpit, no. And then we get a whole different world of toys to play with. And we get an autopilot and all sorts of things. It's good, isn't it? Just go and fire up a little GNS 430 down there. It's very cool, isn't it? Why is that suddenly... Oh, I'm running out of room on the head tracking. I'm too close to the sensor. So you have an autopilot down here, look. That's no fun though, is it? Don't like that. I'd much rather have the original instruments. So we're flying out towards Gamston, aren't we? 11280. So let's just get this trimmed out. It's not going to trim out, is it? It just moves around the whole time. It's like a box of frogs. I can't let go of the stick because it will just tip over. Right, that will do. This is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? if I roll, if it goes one way, it falls that way. If it to the point that you can't get to look at any instruments, let's just take the risk. 11280. We should have this working now. So we want to go 66 degrees. And we get a DME as well. That's really good, isn't it? So 50 miles to run. Put the head tracking back on. Should we go low across the fields to get there? So how fast will this go? There's 500 knots. I don't really want to go much faster than that because that's redlining it basically. You see the crosswind though, it's pushing us. It's a wind from the north. If you go look at the map. Actually no, it's a tailwind. That makes no sense. I'm just judging by watching the land going by. It's going by an angle. We're being pushed that way. It's a 20 knot wind, yeah, that makes sense then, okay. So we're being pushed that way at 20 knots. But it's having more an effect than you might imagine, isn't it? Okay, so leaving... Oh, should we not at Gamston yet? Oh, we've got a little way to go yet. And then we'll turn towards Waddington and Coningsby. Get the words right. Let's go low across the fields. Windmills, should we fly in between them? Oh, pylon. Nearly hit it. See that we lost the signal there for a moment, so this lights up when it's got the signal, so it is simulating being too close to the ground to get the radio signal, which is good. So we are 20 miles out now from Gamston. Was there another radio beacon over at Coningsby? That's Tecan. I'm not sure if I can tune into that one. So we'll just fly away from Gamston on a different heading. So we'll fly in towards it. So we've got 66 degrees again. And we're back on the radial. This part of the UK is very flat, isn't it? Someone's saying, is the attitude indicator caged? No, it isn't. So if you watch it, it's not a modern one. Remember, this is late 40s. So if I pull up, that's what you get. I'm not sure why the off sign is there. We'd have to have a look at that another time. There's lots to learn about this aeroplane. It's very cool. Because it has another cockpit, of course, which I can't get into easily unless I press. I wonder if it's got a control key to get there. Control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. No, that's the through the undercarriage door view. How are we doing? Okay, we've gone slightly to the left of the radial we wanted to be on. So we got nav1 showing up as the single line, direct line to it. Obviously we can then use the omni-bearing selector. This does mean we could play with ILS though. So we are 5 miles out from the beacon. We want to be flying from the beacon to get to Coningsby. If we draw a measurement from Gamston, we want to fly 111 degrees if we haven't hit the ground first. So we'll change this to 111. Whoops. Okay, we're over the top. We've just gone right over the top of the beacon. So then we change course to 111 degrees, and it will pick up. We're now flying from the beacon. So we'll need more than 111 to begin with, because we're obviously gone off. We've overshot in the turn. So this is now counting upwards. We're 3 miles away, 4 miles away, and the beak. See, look, the radial's coming in. So then we begin a gentle left turn back towards the direction we want to be going. Did that a bit early. Let's go back to 120 degrees. We're now on an intercept course, gently, with the radial we want to be on. And as it comes into the middle, we edge back towards 111 degrees, while fighting the aeroplane, which is trying to roll left at the moment. Trimming the entire time. So we should be heading directly towards Coningsby. How long was our distance measurement? So it was 30 miles. So we should find 30 miles along the radial. We'll be right over the top of Coningsby. How are we doing on fuel? Down to 35%. Should we see if we can transfer some more from the tip tanks? So apparently the roll rate will get better once the tip tanks have been exhausted. So we're pushing the fuel back into the fuselage. Watching this needle go all the way back up to 100. So having done that, let me just turn off head tracking, it's being a so-and-so. Having done that, we can then... I just want to... It'll be interesting to go and have a look in here now and see how much we've used. Hardly any, so this has got a colossal range. That's interesting. Just centering the view up. How are we doing on the radial? Slightly off to the right. We're 24, so we should be 5 miles out from Coniston. Coningsby. I keep saying Coniston, don't I? Just gently turning across the path to get it back onto the middle of the radial. And we should find we have an airfield right underneath us, filled with modern fighter hardware. It's one way to go past, isn't it? So there's all the Eurofighters parked down that end. A few more over here. Eurofighter Central, isn't it, Coningsby? A few more over here. Should we play Spot the Lightning? I think it's in amongst these buildings somewhere. It's on the corner of one of the gardens. Anyway, we'll come in for an approach in a moment. Let's have a look and see where we are, where the wind is. So yeah, we're going to double back. We want 070 degrees. We want to leave some speed. So there's the runway. How are we doing with losing that speed? We're not. Let's just roll it in and see how we get on. So if we go and dump the gear, oh look, it doesn't like pulling any sort of angle of attack at this sort of speed. And we've gone really wide because of it. That's interesting. So you do need to be careful about configuration then. Below 200 knots, it doesn't like maneuvering. See the puppy lights. No need to play ILS games today. We've got perfectly good visibility of the runway. Look at it barreling around. low. Bit slow, bit low, but we're okay. I was almost scared to steer then. Or to put any rudder input in. It was floating around on the runway. To go and park it in the hangar in between all the Eurofighters. If I could get to it easily, which I can't because the switch is completely hidden behind that bulkhead. Let's just put the parking brake on for a moment. This would be quite cool. And then you can't get to it because it's hidden there. Oh, of course we have to unlock this first. Yeah, I told you there was a lightning down here. Let's go and taxi past it and have a look at it. So BAC lightning. So anyone from the other side of the world, anyone that's interested in aviation knows about lightning, don't they? It's designed to intercept aircraft coming in over the North Sea from Russia. It could accelerate vertically. I think it's still classified its maximum altitude. It was designed to basically go straight up. It had a rubbish range, designed to go straight up, supersonic, fire a missile and come home again, or not even come home. You know, go get there as fast as possible, intercept, fire everything, and hope for the best. Okay. So how do we go about shutting the engine down? I can't get to that switch. I'm going to have to turn the head tracking off. So my only gripe about this aeroplane is it's really difficult to get to these switches. Obviously if we cut the fuel off, then the engine won't run anymore. there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So that's the T-33 Shooting Star from Lockheed, developed by, now I'm going to get this wrong, it's Inibuilds are making or selling it, but I'm not sure who the original developer is. I don't know if it's one of their internal projects or not. But they very kindly gave me an early access copy of it to show to people, so I'm doing so. I'm not sure. I think it will be out very, very soon. So it's going to be good fun. And as you saw, flying around the Mach Loop, it was absolutely rock steady. It's quite good fun using the navigation radios. So obviously we saw the light comes on when you have a signal, and you can tune it in on the old settings down here. So yeah, it worked really, really well. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you again. Oh, we have to pull this, don't we, to cage it? Sorry, I missed that out. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.